So when it comes to Joey, who was a part of 90 Day Fiance once upon a time with his then girlfriend Magda, who have now broken up, well, he was found on a Facebook page called Are We Dating the Same Guy? And a woman has come out to expose him for being a rather violent human being. So please do proceed with caution because the things that I'm about to tell you may trigger you in some way. Okay, so please do proceed with caution. Now, this information itself in particular has been provided us by according to Amber. So let's dive into it. So this woman here called Emily came out by saying, my first post was deleted, so I'm posting again to warn women of this man. You know what I like about this? I like the fact that this woman is hell-bent to expose this man because she's like, listen, I don't want another woman to go through what I went through. And God forbid what other women have been through this potentially before her. But of course, we can only really proceed as if this is nothing but allegations because we don't have the actual proof. But let's continue. I dated Joey for 6 months, and what I had to experience, no women should. He puts his hands on me more than once. One of his punches leaving a baseball-sized bruises for weeks. I believe I was in some sort of toxic bond with him and forgave him after the first time. He said he would never put his hands on me again. But he did. And let's just elaborate the fact that she is honest about the fact that she was in a toxic bond. There are a lot of people who are in relationships where abuse happens but don't understand why. And even after it's happened, they still don't necessarily know why it happened or how they allowed it to happen. This woman has acknowledged it by letting us know that she understands that she was in a toxic bond, and this is something that deluded her mind to believe that this man will change, to believe that this man will become better. But here's the thing, folks. If somebody puts their hands on you, whether it is a man or a woman, the reality is you should not date that person moving forward. I would never recommend someone to stay in a relationship when somebody gets their hands put on them once, nor would I ever recommend someone to stay in a relationship when they've also been verbally abused as well. Because when somebody chooses to verbally abuse you or someone chooses to physically abuse you, it tells you everything that you need to know regarding how they value you as a person, how they see you as somebody that is a punching bag, somebody that they can go to and just do things that they will get away with because they know you are potentially not strong enough to actually walk away. So please, 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 if you are ever in a situation where somebody puts their hands on you or verbally abuses you, please walk away. There is no point of staying because you have hope that they may change. That hope is something that's only hurting you more. We continue. This man is an alcoholic as well as a drug addict. During our relationship, we constantly fighting about him selling his prescription drugs, Admo and Xanax, to random women. He can easily go through an entire bottle of liquor himself in one sitting. Now, let's really talk about him being able to go through a whole bottle of liquor in one setting. That tells us that this is a man who is not self-aware of his actions, or maybe he is, but he uses the liquor as an excuse to why he behaves the way he does behave, which is absolutely atrocious. Now, we have to understand these are the things that we didn't necessarily see displayed on the show, and we don't know if he's always been like this before the show or if he became like this after the show. But to be fair, one thing we do know is that he was definitely a party animal, because when we saw him in the show and we saw them present his friends at the time, we saw that these are the kind of people that like to go out, drink, and have a good time. So really and truly, was there ever signs of him being somebody that enjoyed alcohol? Yes. Were there signs of him being alcoholic? Obviously not, because people are very good at masking. People are very good at hiding things when they want to hide things, which is very interesting though. Just to take a little detour, ladies and gentlemen. You know, in this world, it is very hard for women to be diagnosed with most things, whether that be depression, anxiety, ADHD, autism. Why? Because women are great at masking. But when it comes to men, it seems to be easier to diagnose them with the said things that I listed before. Why? Because men don't necessarily mask as well as women does. But isn't it interesting though that when it comes to something like this, something that involves being abusive to your spouse, masking all of a sudden is something that can be done. I do question things sometimes, but that's just something just to put out there. Do what you will with that information. Now, Let's get back into this situation here, this unfortunate situation this woman had to go through with this man that clearly also cannot handle his drink and probably uses his drink as an excuse to why he does what he does. But I will say this though, if you are in a relationship with somebody that one is abusive to you physically, leave. Verbally, leave. If you're with somebody who is an addict to drinking, to drugs, this is where things can maybe feel a bit different. Why? Well, because sometimes we want to stay because we don't want to give up on that person. We want to help them do better. But understand this, folks. You cannot help somebody who does not want to be helped. People only change when they want to change. So should you, out of loyalty, stay with somebody who has a drinking problem or who is becoming an addict? Again, that can be subjective depending on how long you've known that person. Personally, for me, I would say that when somebody is doing something like that around you, which is something that's clearly going to impact you, I would say leave them, but you can support them from afar. You can give them the tools that they need to recover, but you don't need to actually still stay with them within that relationship. Because if you're in that relationship, that person is going to drain the hell out of you. And is it fair for someone to drain you because they are making choices that are unfair to you as well? Well, no. So the reality is this, folks. If somebody hits you, you leave. Verbally abusive, you should leave. If somebody becomes an addict whilst you're with them, you try and give them the advice, you give them the tools, and if they ignore you the first time, leave. If they see it as, well, you gave up on me, well, you didn't want to stick around, no. They gave up on you the moment they decided to do what? To become an addict. You have to protect yourself more than ever. In this world, there's only one person that's always going to protect us more than anybody else, and that is ourselves, as long as we choose ourselves in the right way. Either that or your parents, but that can be subjective, right? But let's continue. He's a thief. He steals from stores on a regular basis. Now that's tragic. Even more tragic, shall I say. He's now holding hundreds of dollars of my belongings out of spite. He also has a previous drug addict, and I believe still is, as I have caught him snorting excessive amounts of Xanax and buying painkillers off the streets. On top of all of this, he was cheating on me, messaging other women behind my back, while introducing me to his parents and making me think it was serious. I am traumatized. Here's the thing, when somebody introduces you to their parents, that is usually the sign of, we must be serious. It's usually the sign of, you know what, this man or this woman is actually taking me seriously. Maybe this is the person that I'm actually going to settle down with. But understand that sometimes some people may seek somebody who is presentable to their parents to help hide who they really are. So here's the thing, this woman here was probably a woman who's a lovely person, and he saw her as a woman that came in squeaky clean, so therefore if he introduced her to his parents would think that, hey, our son's doing better now. He's now a woman that is able to look after him, a woman that is also on the right path for stuff in particular. So maybe she's going to be the one to save him from his drinking, from his drugs, and anything else that the parents may have suspected and may have tried to help him with before. So there is that possibility that he's using her as a front, but not as somebody he actually wants to be with. Somebody that's a front and somebody who he can abuse physically, as well as also stealing from that person as well. These are things that do happen, and these are things that we have to be aware of. There are plenty of men and women who do this to their spouses. They don't always necessarily cheat, but they'll definitely use you because you look the part to help mask their BS. And also on top of that, if you're a woman that looks like as if you would not tolerate being in a relationship with a man that is on drugs, that is doing anything else like that, that's even better, because therefore he presents you to the parents and they think that this woman is a no BS type of person. So please be aware of the person that you are bringing to you. Please be aware of the person that's bringing you to their family. Okay? Bear that in mind. But of course, sometimes people can draw you in, bring you in, and then start doing activities after they brought you into the family. But either way, doesn't matter the pattern. Once somebody starts to take advantage of you, you should walk away. There is no point of you wasting your energy by sticking around. But hey, that is your choice. Let's continue. Where was I here? Okay, there we go. Just to clarify here, I am traumatized and women. He can easily go for an entire board. My apologies. This is not where we are. We are. Let's see. I am traumatized and need serious therapy, to say the least. You know, I definitely do enjoy and like her honesty. For her to understand that she does need to do therapy. And that's somebody that is very accountable in her own right. Because you see, in life, it's easy to be in a relationship. Well, not easy. My apologies. Let me not say it in that way. In life, you can be in a relationship with somebody who is the way she describes Joey to be, allegedly. And when you walk away, it is easy for people to not take accountability for their role in that relationship, which is a bad thing. You know, if you are in a relationship or been in a relationship where somebody has been absolutely terrible to you, and once you walk away, yes, of course, what that person did is absolutely disgusting, but it does not mean that you should not walk away trying to be accountable for some of the things that you may have learned from that experience. Now, being accountable doesn't mean looking at the fact that you may have done things that were bad. No, being accountable means going back and reanalyzing. Okay, so how did it get to this point where he was able to put my hands on him? How did I get to the point where I decided to forgive him? How did I get to the point where I ignored the signs that were in front of me, but I kept allowing him to be here? How did I get myself in this box that she labeled toxic? Let me go back to what she says specifically. Toxic bond. All right. So if you're able to think about these are things and these are tools that you can then use later on when you move on in your next relationship, because therefore you can now look at these things and be like, well, the last time I was with somebody, when they did certain things, I allowed it. Should I allow these things to happen in the next one? But of course, we have to be careful to not do something that I like to call go compare. And when I say that, what I mean is when you go for someone new, they may do something similar to what someone else did prior, but it doesn't necessarily mean it doesn't mean they're doing it in the same intention, meaning that their intention may not actually be a bad intention. And sometimes their intention may just be because sometimes all of us men have certain traits that are similar to other men, just like all women have certain traits that are similar to other women. Do you see what I'm saying? So there are things that shouldn't necessarily be mistaken, because again, you don't want to be in a position where you're now doing go compare and you might ruin something good with a new person just because the old person did something that was manipulative towards you, but this person isn't actually being manipulative. It's just what's happening. So these are the things that definitely need to be bared in mind, okay, ladies and gentlemen. But like I said before, when you have gone through a relationship, even if the other person was the worst person, don't ever walk away thinking that you've done nothing wrong, or walk away as if there's nothing that you could have learned. Always look back and think to yourself, okay, what can I take from that relationship that I can do better for the next one? Okay, given that there is something there, because of course it depends on the duration of the relationship and how much you knew that person. Now, also on top of that, she does come off by saying, and by the way, some females just sent him this post. He's threatening me, so thanks for that. To be honest with you, that is rather disgusting, because one of the unfortunate things in this world, especially when it comes to being a woman, is that sometimes not all women want to support women. Sometimes women want to throw other women under the bus because they want to gain whatever the hell they want to gain. Now, in this situation, maybe these women are trying to gain Joey's attention, and that's why they're trying to expose this woman. Who knows what the intention is? Does it really matter? No, it doesn't, because the matter of fact is, exposing her to him is just absolutely ridiculous and unfair. But again, like I said before, we can only say that this information is only alleged purely because she did not bring us any evidence of in particular, and it'd be unfair to tarnish his image if this information isn't actually true. But the question is, though, what would she gain from making up this lie on a random page where it's literally all about exposing you dating the same men? It'd be very different if she did it on a different type of platform. She made a video or something like that and it looked like she was gaining clout. But it seems to me as if this is a woman that's really trying to work through her past with him, you know, mentioning the toxic bond, as well as also mentioning that she also does need therapy, okay? And she just wants to help other women, and that's just that. So it seems to me as if this is somebody that's just trying to do better for herself, but at the same time is hoping that she can save some women along the way. But either way, it's entirely up to you folks to do what you want with this information. Do you believe it or do you not? That is up to you. Let us know in the comment section. And please do not forget to like and subscribe. And I'll be seeing you lovely folks for tomorrow's episode when we do the review for tonight's episode of 90 Day Fiance before the 90 days. And then, of course, the single life as well. But with that being said, peace.